My mother called me and advised I let Mike be, stating that Mike isn't the only man in the world. She told me that according to the tradition, that if Mike goes ahead to marry me, he will suffer for it and might die in the process. I became so scared. My life was crumbling before me, and I don't have what it takes to stop it. But I want Mike. My body, soul and mind is already used to Mike. He will not die, I silently told myself. And right there, I made up my mind I will fight for our love till the end. I deserve happiness. I'm human, and I deserve to be loved. But was I being selfish, fighting for my own happiness and neglecting that of Mike's? If what my mother said is true, if he goes ahead to marry me, I refuse giving that a thought. What will be, I said. I continued seeing Mike, though this time behind his parents. On the third day, the long-awaited day, we all gathered at the community hall. This day will determine if I will take my life or not. Mike looked so shattered. His mom gave me a wicked look, but I do not care anymore. We all know why we are here, and in order not to waste our time, I will go straight to the point. Mike, stand up and tell us your conclusion, the Igbo had said. Mike stood up and hesitated for some minutes. Those minutes were like decades for me. Tears dropped from my eyes. Why me, I muttered. I will marry her, I heard Mike said. I jumped up from my chair and almost ran to hug Mike, but his mother had stood up and charged towards me. It took the intervention of the council for Mike's mother not to kill me on that day. We were banished. Yes, the Igbo and his council kept to their word. We were paraded around the community like thieves before they existed us from the community border. A new life started, a life full of uncertainty, but in all, we were determined to live. Mike and I settled in a new community, far away from Enugu State. We started attending a living church. We prayed to God to shame our enemies and vindicate us. I prayed for Mike every night. Things started going well for us. Mike's business was moving, and I was teaching in a nearby primary school, owned by a woman in our church. I had shared my story with her, so she decided to hire me while she counseled me. A year in my marriage, I became pregnant. Mike and I were so happy that we shared testimony in the church. One night, I woke up to serious cramps. I thought it was the usual cramps, but as it progresses, it became so unbearable. I decided to take medication. I stood up from my bed only to notice I was in a pool of my own blood. I lost the 3 months pregnancy. Is this it? I had asked. Is this the beginning of my doom? My mother's voice rang through my mind. Mike will suffer if he goes ahead to marry you. I cried uncontrollable, but in all, Mike comforted me. But that was just the beginning of my doom. I never took in again. A month after my miscarriage, Mike's business started going down. Money was no longer coming in. It got to a point where my Mike started borrowing just for us to eat. I was still working, but we could barely make ends meet with my salary. We kept praying. I asked for forgiveness, asked for mercy, but things didn't get better. Mike's friends stopped borrowing him because the ones he borrowed hasn't been paid. His business folded, and we were left to survive on the peanuts I received at the end of the month. We became friends with hunger. On 29th of March, I will never forget that day. I got a call that a car hit my husband on his way to look for work. I ran like a mad woman to the hospital I was told they took him to. I was told by the doctor to deposit 100,000 naira before he can attend to Mike. Where will I see such money? I only had 5,000 naira in my account. I knelt down and pleaded with the doctor to please attend to my husband first while I go bring the money. He was already losing blood and bleeding internally according to the doctor. The doctor refused. I ran out, went to my headmistress and pleaded if she could pay me all my salary for the year, which won't even get up to 100k. Shockingly, she refused, saying it's against her policy. She knew me. She knew my story. She had even advised and prayed for me in some occasions. Why can't she just help me? All my pleading fell on deaf ear. It was at this moment I knew I was alone on this. Where do I start from? Who do I call? Do I run back to our community and plead for forgiveness? Time will not permit me. I hated myself that very moment, but it was no time to throw blames. My mic was still in the hospital unconscious, so I ran off again, and that was all I could remember. I found myself surrounded by people with water all over my body. I was almost half naked. What happened? What am I doing here? I asked, very confused. I tried standing up, but I couldn't. I was very weak. You were running and slumped, I heard someone said from the crowd. This is it. This is the end of me, I said to myself. Why was I revived? They shouldn't have. They should have just helped me and end all these pains. I don't deserve this. I didn't commit any offense. Where was I even running to? I asked myself. It was that moment I remembered. My mic. Oh, my darling husband. I sprang up like a wounded lion, ready to fight my last battle, but was held back by some people who might have thought I was about running mad. I had to explain to them my audio. A good Samaritan took me to the hospital, yet without the complete money. On getting to the hospital, I received the news that still haunts me till date. Mike is dead. My Mike left me. He left me in this cold world, the one thing that gave me peace. He knew I can't live without him, yet he left me. I locked myself up for months. I questioned my existence. I questioned so many things. Was I selfish? I should have just let Mike be. I should have just refused him marrying me. Maybe he would have still been alive. Was I actually the cause of his predicament, or life just happened? Was marrying Osu the reason he suffered so much? Why did the society fail me? Why couldn't the doctor treat my Mike, even after they swore to save life first? Why did the church abandon me? Why did they preach that I'm free, gave advice, but refused to support financially? Why should I bear the consequences of what I know nothing of? Why? I wrote down my life in my journal, titled The Mark I Didn't Choose, and kept it where no man will see it. I read it every day to remind myself how much the world hated me. So perhaps you are reading this. It means I'm already dead. You found where I hid my journal.